and then out to the side. Well, what's up guys? Welcome back to Man Cave Collectibles, coming at you today with another figure review. So today we got something that I'm really excited about, something I've been hunting for weeks now on my toy hunts. If you're not familiar with the channel, we do toy hunting on this channel. We found ZARAX and ZORK on one of our most recent toy hunts at a local Target. So these are Target exclusives if you're not familiar with the line. This is kind of a follow-up to the recently released Triceraton Infantryman. So this is Captain ZARAX and then kind of his right-hand man ZORK. And then they had the orange Triceratons that most of us are more familiar with kind of as the infantrymen to their little army. And we'll take a look at the infantrymen later on in the video. But right now, the spotlight is on ZARAX and ZORK. Taking a look at their box, we've got some nice cartoon artwork here of each one of them here in the bottom corners. That just iconic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logoing there. Their names up top. Nickelodeon's got a little branding here in the corner. Looking at the top, same TMNT logoing. Flipping around to the side, we got a nice product image there of ZORK. On the back, more product images as well as the infantryman that we were just talking about with the Roadkill Rodneys. The Ultimate Metalhead, so that he was an individually packaged figure, kind of a larger scale size figure. But we do have him in the collection as well. And we have recently saw him in the wild also at a Target. So I don't know if they're re-releasing him or if he was just kind of a leftover or maybe even a return. Then we've got our Trag and Granitor, which also have come out very recently. And we've done reviews on all of these on the channel. So check those out if you're not familiar with them. Got a little bit of a write-up here on the back. This write-up is pretty much standard to all the Ninja Turtle 2-packs. It really talks about the turtles, not necessarily the characters that we're looking at in box. Real nice images here of the product, and then on this side, another product shot of ZARAX. Let's break these guys out of their packaging and take a look at what we got. All right, guys, we got our ZARAX and ZORK out of their packaging and onto our view table. As always, let's jump right into accessories first. Now, a lot of these accessories are things we've already seen. If you have picked up the Infantryman 2-pack, the Infantryman Roadkill Rodney 2-pack, you're going to be familiar with most of these guns. So we've got kind of the sniper rifle weapon here. Looks really nice. Has a little bit of paint here on the handle area. A little bit of gray and black up there on the scope. Stock area has just kind of a gunmetal gray or a dark gray. Looks good. Okay, again, this is something we're already familiar with. We get the pistol here. This one looks really nice. Okay, mine's got a little bit of scuff up, but it really don't look bad. Kind of adds a little character to it. Okay, looks good. And then we got kind of the big gun here. Got a little bit of that orange accent there down the barrel of it. Looks really nice. Got the scope there. A little bit of color there inside. Okay, so that's the three guns that come. Now, ZARAX there does have, I guess it's almost like gauntlet blades here that come out of his gauntlets. He did fight with these in the cartoon. They look good. They basically just replaced the gauntlets that he has on. So we'll take a look at what these look like here in a little bit later. Now, each one of these guys come with the open hands that you see on them right now. They also each get fist hands. So this is their left hand for each one. And they each get right hand. Kind of fist hands. So these would be good for holding the smaller size guns with the smaller handles. And then they each get a trigger finger hand. See that? Looks really nice. One thing to mention, this is a very soft plastic. You're able to bend it pretty well. You can see here, this will open up. Much more easier than I expected. That was one nice thing that we noticed on the actual Triceraton figure, something maybe new they were doing. Definitely something I like because it made it easier to get those guns inside those hands without you know, feeling like you were going to break something. So that was a nice touch. Now looking right at our new figures here, so we can take a look at, let's look at Zork first. Bring him up close here. Take a look at that face. You can see he's got a really, really long horn here on him as compared to like our infantrymen. Let's see, we can bring an infantryman face sculpt in close here. You can see the difference. They're much shorter horn there on his nose than what our Zork has. So it looks really, really nice. Now, also here, and this is, we're not going to go into a full articulation on these guys because the articulation is virtually the same as what we saw on the infantryman, but he does have an articulated jaw here, which the infantryman did not. That's about as far down as we can get that jaw to go, but it looks really, really good. I mean, I'm very impressed and happy with having the ability to articulate that jaw, to give a little more expression to the figure. You know, yesterday we reviewed the Token Razor, and Toka had articulated eyebrows. They both had articulated mouths. So that's maybe something new Neca is really trying to work in, and I think it's a phenomenal way to just give us options as collectors to express different emotions with our posing for our characters. So really, really cool there. Now you can see here he does have a little more detail kind of to his get-up than like our infantryman does. You can see that he just kind of has more of this basic outfit, where here, you know, him kind of being the right-hand man to our captain there, he has a little more detail. He's got a strap there across. As we're spinning on around here, you can see that strap comes all the way across to the back. Got this tail here that's just it is a reuse. One thing I did happen to notice here on the legs, so you can see these are a reuse here of the Leatherhead thighs and legs, I believe, and he has pants, so you can actually see these guys are not supposed to have pants on, but you can still see the wrinkles from the pants actually in their legs there. So that's kind of interesting that they, you know, weren't able to get that out. I guess they had to kind of do a reuse of that. One other thing too I'll note, you look at the feet on our Triceraton infantryman, and then the feet on these guys, we did get a different type of foot. So that is one of the major differences. For the most part, they're pretty close to the same as far as just their body makeup, but the feet were definitely something I noticed right off the bat were a little bit different. We'll go ahead and bring in our ZARAX, Captain ZARAX, and take a close-up look at his face. Now, you know, one difference here, he kind of has a similar horn to Zork. However, his is more pointing up, where Zork's is more kind of pointing, you know, out or towards you. So if we bring them both in close here, you can see how it is different. And I like that. I love that Neca didn't, you know, just take the three of the same heads and, you know, paint them a different color. So that's a really cool touch. You also see here, he kind of has these caps on the tops of his horns. You know, I don't know, maybe that has something to do with his position in the army. Could be. We do know that, you know, he has the tassels here coming across, which are different. You know, both these guys do have the pauldrons on their shoulders, which we can see there, that our, you know, infantryman does not. So that is definitely a difference there. And then he's kind of got the sash coming down. Again, probably just something, you know, showing a distinction between him and a regular infantryman in the Triceraton army. But just really, really nice detail on these guys. And again, he's got the same feet and toes as we saw on the Zork figure there. So it looks good. Now he does have articulation in his jaw. Now this one is a little tougher to get out. You got to almost get something up in there to pry it out, I've come to find. Let's see if we can use, yeah, there we go. So you can see with his, we can get it a little more open than we could the Zork figure there. So that looks really cool. He kind of has more of an angry look, or kind of more, maybe more of a confused look. Zork looks more kind of an angry look. You can see him kind of, you know, glaring there right below his eyebrows. So just a lot of expression in these guys, being able to articulate those mouths, change things up a little bit. I think it looks really, really nice. Now, as far as swapping out the gauntlets for our ZARAX figure, you can see here on the inside, if I can get it to focus enough, there's an RM right there on the inside of the gauntlet. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take off the hand, and then the actual gauntlet that he has on is going to come off just like that, and then this one is going to go on. So you're actually going to replace out the entire gauntlet. Now you can see here there is a small peg hole, and inside the gauntlet, I'm not sure how well it's showing up, but there is a peg just right inside that. You're going to want to line those up and place that gauntlet back on. Just like that. Okay. And then the hand will go back in place. All right. And now you've got his gauntlet there. So it looks really, really good. Probably would look a little bit better with like a fist hand there instead of the open hand. But I just wanted to show you guys kind of how that works. They got a lot of the paint kind of flaking off here on our table from making that swap out. So that may be something that you see, but it doesn't appear to really have caused any kind of damage. It's just some paint flaking from underneath the gauntlet. Now we have discussed a little bit of articulation. We'll go in a little more in depth here. Now both of these guys are basically going to have the same articulation, so we're just going to set aside our Zork figure and take a look here at our Captain ZARAX figure. So we can get the head down to about right there, up to about right there. Okay, on the arms, because of the pauldron here, we're not going to be able to get these arms past that. Well, we've got it's not broken, but you can see here that the bicep has come loose. Now it looks like that is something that will just go right back in there. So it shows got an L on there, and this looks like it will just slide right back down in there. It might take a little bit of glue, but that is kind of an unfortunate, I'm not going to call it a break, but you know, coming loose like that is a little bit unfortunate. So we'll leave that in for you guys to see. You know, I hate to you know, have that in the video, but I think it's something that's important to see. You know, when those types of things happen, that's probably not a large scale issue. Now I wasn't being real rough with the figure, but these are Neca figures, and we know that out of package Neca figures do sometimes tend to have really tight joints. Now that wasn't a tight joint scenario because nothing really broke. That was just, it almost looks like maybe if there was glue or something that was holding that into kind of this, you know, this, I guess, port. Maybe there just wasn't enough, or it maybe wasn't in there at all. I don't see where there was really any glue. You can see it as well as I can. It doesn't appear like there was much glue in there, but either way, we'll try to get that resolved. Looks like something you might could put a little glue on, or I may even hit up Neca customer service and see if they can help me out in any way on that. We'll put him back. We'll look at articulation here on our Zork figure. So we can get these arms up to about right there without stressing at all. Down again, not going to be able to really get that full 360. You can come out with it to get the 360, but again, this pauldron is gonna, hinder that some. We do have the spin here at the bicep, okay? Right here on the double jointed elbows. Again, very tight joints, but we can get them up, nice range of motion there. Right here on these hands, back and forward, no problem, spin. Okay, we do have some articulation here in the torso area. It's going to spin some, but you've got this strap coming across. It's going to hinder it. If you do too much of a spin, you're going to break that strap off. So you're not going to want to do a whole lot of spin. There is a little bit of ab crunch in there. We can see, looks good. Plenty of range of motion here doing the splits. We do get a little bit of a swivel here at the top of the thigh. Double jointed knees look good. Okay, we can get lots of ankle pivot, forward and backward there, no problems. So all this looks good. Now I will tell you guys, the articulation in this figure is good. Most of that felt pretty soft and like it wasn't going to really break on me. Can't lie, I'm a little gun shy after the little disconnection there, but it's good for you guys to know as well. And a little bit of articulation here in the tail. So, something good for you guys to know. I don't know that that's a weak spot. I've watched a few reviews of other YouTubers reviewing these guys, and I don't think I've seen anybody have that issue that I had yet. So it's probably a very small number of them that may have an issue there in that bicep, but just something to be aware of as you pose and move your arm around. Let's go ahead and bring in some additional figures for size comparison. We'll wrap up our video. All right, guys, so we've got some figures out here for size comparison. You can see here we've got our Leonardo Neca figure out here, and boy, is he really small in size comparison to these guys. These three look phenomenal together, though. That yellow, green, and orange just really pops. I can't wait to see these guys on the shelves. I do have 3 of the infantrymen, so I did do a little army building really for the first time ever in my collecting career. But the Triceraton was one of my favorite figures in the original Playmates line from back in the late 80s, early 90s. So when I saw that I would have the ability to kind of army build with probably my favorite figure from when I was a kid, I absolutely, took the opportunity. So I think they're going to really look good. They're going to stand out on a shelf and really pop. I'm excited about that. But you can see just how big these guys are here as compared to like a Leonardo figure. We'll go ahead and pull him out, and we'll bring in a Rocksteady figure so you can see kind of how he stacks up. And Rocksteady stands right there with him as far as his mass and his height. Obviously, they have, the portion here across the top of their head. I'm not sure what that's called on a Triceratops, but, that's really where they have him as far as height, their horns, and, that kind of shield on the back of their head. So they're just big figures. They're not the biggest figures that have come out yet, but there's just so much plastic with them. And, they just really look phenomenal. If you've not found these guys, don't give up hope. Like I said, I just found 2 of them on shelf this past weekend. So I think they're starting to hit. I think folks are starting to get their deliveries if you ordered it on Target as well. So get out there, hunt for them. Hopefully you can find them. I wish you the best of luck. Kind of my final thoughts on these guys. If you bought the infantrymen, you're going to need these 2 guys. They're kind of the leaders per se of the Triceraton infantry or army. So you're going to need them. As far as the arm breakage there, it's unfortunate. I think it's going to be able to be repaired, and no one will ever be the wiser to it because of how it broke. It wasn't like a peg broke off inside of a piece of plastic or inside of a peg hole. So it's totally fixable, and it's something I'll go and work on and kind of get sorted out. I don't think it's going to cause any problems to articulation. It was kind of I guess what we call more like a clean break. So I'm not going to hold that against Neca for this set of figures. I think this is probably a very small issue in the scheme of things. So drop comments down below, guys. What do you think of these? Have you been out trying to find them? Have you been able to find them? Or, have you given up? Have you maybe been checking out the scalper market, as we like to call them? the secondary market on these. I think they're going for about 80 bucks for a 2-pack, 80 to 85 bucks for the 2-pack, which is about, you know, about a 80 to 90% markup, you know, over what they, you know, what they are at retail, $51.99. So hit that like button if you guys enjoyed this video. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. Love to have you as part of the Man Cave Collectibles team. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Until next time.